Well, here we go. Names of the FBI officials who worked on the January 6 cases and Trump investigations were identified. We're talking about this new report and so much more here on the Gateway Pundits Week in Review. My name is Elijah Schaffer, and this is the Gateway Pundits Week in Review. We cover the top 5 stories of the last 24 hours. Don't forget to sign up for our mug club and get this amazing cup without the big boy sippy cup directly on our site. It is embossed, it is weighty, and you can use it every single day while also supporting independent media and journalism at our website, thegatewaypundit.com. Our top story today from Christina Lila reports, names of FBI officials who worked on January 6 cases and Trump investigations identified. Listen to this. Well, it turns out that the names of FBI officials who worked on January 6 cases and Trump witch hunts have been identified. According to NBC News, there were more than 2,400 cases in total. The FBI officials who worked on the January 6 cases and Trump investigations were identified by a case management system. There are reportedly 5,000 employees who have been identified as subject to potential firing. Per NBC News reporter Ken Dillanian, an internal FBI document obtained by NBC News shows that executives use the FBI Sentinel case file management system to identify agents and employees who worked on January 6 cases. The documents say that they were around 2,400 investigations in total. The document says the search of cases was used to generate a list of names and then received a survey asking them exactly what they did on these cases. This is being reviewed by the FBI as a retribution mission. An internal FBI document obtained by NBC News shows that executives use the FBI Sentinel case file management system to identify them. Again, FBI Director Brian Driscoll is reportedly refusing to give the names of the officials involved in January 6 cases and Trump investigations. Brian Driscoll is currently serving as acting FBI Director as Trump nominee Kash Patel awaits confirmation. According to an email from Acting Director Brian Driscoll and reviewed by the Gateway Pundit, each field office is required to submit a list of personnel, current and former, who were involved in January 6 investigations by noon on Tuesday, February 4th. However, it was reported over the weekend that Brian Driscoll is on thin ice because he refused to deliver a list of officials involved in the witch hunt of Trump and political persecution of J6ers. There are reports that FBI agents are planning a protest on Monday at the Washington, D.C. headquarters. Last week, heads rolled at the Washington field office and Miami office after Trump fired nearly 90 FBI officials. 88 FBI officials were marched out of their offices on Friday. Now, going down here, more firings are expected today or tomorrow. Stay tuned. Now, as we talk about this report, it is quite remarkable. I mean, these are what happened to people who are doing this. Listen to this report, and you tell me what you think.
It's happening. It can only be described as the start of a massive, much larger than expected purge at the FBI of FBI agents and officials. Many of them, in one way or another, touched the investigations into Donald Trump. Sources telling NBC News this: the Office of Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove asked the FBI for a list of Bureau employees involved in January 6 cases, sparking panic inside the Bureau by people who fear retribution by the Trump administration amidst an ongoing purge of FBI leadership. Meanwhile, my colleague, NBC's Ken Dillanian, reports that several top FBI executives were told to resign or be fired, and that the purge includes more than 20 heads of FBI field offices, including those in Miami and Washington, D.C. It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. What's happening? That they're caving because they have to do what Trump says. He's the commander in chief. I thought that we didn't care about corruption. I thought corruption we just turn a blind eye to. But it looks like now everyone suddenly cares. Now, that being said, obviously, we're all aging. Trump's getting older. I'm getting older. So are you. Nobody likes it, especially when muscles weaken, making activities harder and less enjoyable. But what if you could actually get stronger with age? Celebrity fitness trainer Tony Horton at 66 claims that he found a simple method that takes just 1 to 2 minutes a day, allowing people to feel stronger and healthier in a short time. Age-related muscle loss, which starts between 40 to 50, is natural, but it can hinder daily tasks. People lose about 0.5% to 1% of muscle mass annually, contributing to increased frailty and vulnerability to falls among the elderly. Horton, known for training stars like Bruce Springsteen, says that his approach can combat his muscle loss and even build new muscle. His method has reportedly been so effective that it's the subject of a viral online report. Now, viewers on platforms like Facebook have shared positive feedback, with many feeling stronger than they have in years. Horton encourages sharing the video to help others, and individual results may vary, but you can learn more by visiting tonyprotein.com/pundit. That's TonyProtein.com/PUNDIT. Check out this protein. It's amazing, and it can help you gain your strength. I'm just going to tell you guys, I drink and eat protein every single day, and I take creatine, among other things. So that's obviously very important. Make sure you check it out today at TonyProtein.com/pundit. Now, additionally, here we go. USAID headquarters is shut down by the Trump administration. Hundreds of staffers locked out overnight. Cole Linebarger reports. The Trump administration is apparently making good on its promise to shut down one of the biggest criminal organizations in America. The Daily Mail reported Monday that U.S. Agency for International Development employees got a nasty surprise when they noticed emails telling them that the headquarters was shut down and to stay home. At the direction of the agency leadership, the USAID headquarters at the Ronald Reagan Building in Washington, D.C. will be closed to agency personnel on Monday, February 3rd, 2025. The message goes on to say that agency personnel who normally work at USAID headquarters will work remotely, except for people who perform essential on-site and building maintenance duties. Further guidance will be forthcoming. In total, at least 600 staffers were locked out overnight, according to the Daily Mail. As of 2016, there were 10,235 employees on its payroll. The Mail notes the official government website for USAID and any other former links for the site's web pages are now show a browser error message after being previously shut down. The site can't be reached. This fulfills a promise made by ex-owner and Doge chairman Elon Musk early Monday morning that he stated during an audio appearance on X that total elimination of USAID was the only option. It became apparent that it's not an apple with a worm in it, Musk said. What we have is just a ball of worms. You've got basically to get rid of the whole thing. It's beyond repair. Now, Elon Musk talked about this. Check out this video where he discusses this. It's quite interesting as he said this on an X space. Listen.
As we dug into USAID, it became apparent that what we have here is not an apple with a worm in it, but we have actually just a bowl of worms. And so at the point at which you don't merely, like if you've got an apple and it's got a worm in it, maybe you can take the worm out. But if you've got actually just a bowl of worms, it's hopeless. And USAID is a bowl of worms. Mm-hmm. There is no apple. And when there is no apple, you've just got to basically get rid of the whole thing. That is why it's got to go. You know, it's beyond repair. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, it is beyond repair. I mean, there's so much in the government that just needs to be nuked, right? Do you ever feel like that? It's like, why is it that only Hiroshima and Nagasaki got to feel American nukes on land? Why don't we nuke other things? I'm not talking about through the bombs themselves. I'm talking about just destroying these government agencies. Sometimes I feel like the entire government needs to be nuked. Of course, peaceably. I'm talking about, hyperbolically. I wouldn't ever call for the entire United States government to be dismantled and restarted. But hey, I hope there's reform. I'm very happy with what Trump's done so far. I don't know how people can be upset about it. I feel like the people who are real critical of Trump are sort of like taking a back seat right now, and they've lost a lot of credibility because, as a married guy with kids, there's really not a lot to complain about. There's things that could be better, but it's like, are we really going to do on the could be better route? Because I kind of look at the Trump administration like a wife or like a child, right? It's like, could your relationship with your wife always be better? Sure. Could your relationship with your kids always improve? Yeah, but they're still your wife and kids. And overall, you're like, well, things are pretty good. I can't just like not be friends with my wife and criticize her because things aren't as good as they could be. Or if my kid, if we're on, having a tough week or something like that with discipline, I can't just be like, oh, well, let's just give up or let's just be extra critical of my child. You believe in your child. You believe in your wife. You believe in your family. And right now it's our nation. We got to believe in it. Something I hope more people can realize. Now, in our next news, developing Secretary of State Marco Rubio takes over as acting director of USAID as Democrat senator threatens to stall Trump nominee over agency shakeup. Check out this video we have here and tell me what you think about this. This is about Marco Rubio arriving in El Salvador as he continues to take on his apparent position here in the Trump White House. Check this out. Official business, and we hope that he's able to figure out something of stature while he's out there. I don't really know if I trust Marco Rubio so much. He was asked about the USAID program and what's going on, as we talked about earlier in the story. Listen to this.
USAID, what's happening at USAID and how that affects the church?
Well, look, I mean, my frustration with USAID goes back to my time in Congress. It's a completely unresponsive agency. It's supposed to respond to policy directives of the State Department, and it refuses to do so. So the functions of USAID, there are a lot of functions of USAID that are going to continue, that are going to be part of American foreign policy, but it has to be aligned with American foreign policy. I said very clearly during my confirmation hearing that every dollar we spend and every program we fund, that will be aligned with the national interest of the United States. And USAID has a history of sort of ignoring that and deciding that there's somehow a global charity separate from the national interest. These are taxpayer dollars. And so I'm very troubled by these reports that they've been unwilling to cooperate with people who are asking simple questions about what does this program do, who gets the money, who are our contractors, who's funded. And that sort of level of insubordination makes it impossible to conduct the sort of mature and serious review that I think foreign aid writ large should have. We're spending taxpayer money here. These are not donor dollars. These are taxpayer dollars. And we owe the American people the assurances that every dollar we are spending abroad is being spent on something that furthers our national interest. And so far, a lot of the people that work at USAID have just simply refused to cooperate.
Are you currently in charge of USAID, or are you acting?
I'm the acting director of USAID. I've delegated that authority to someone, but I stay in touch with him. And again, our goal was to go in and align our foreign aid to the national interest. But if you go to mission after mission and embassy after embassy around the world, you will often find that in many cases, USAID is involved in programs that run counter to what we're trying to do in our national strategy with that country or with that region. That cannot continue. USAID is not an independent, non-governmental entity. It is an entity that spends taxpayer dollars, and it needs to spend it, as the statute says, in alignment with the policy directives that they get from the Secretary of State, the National Security Council, and the President. And it's been 20 or 30 years where people have tried to reform it.
Yeah, I feel like we're just over trying to reform these government agencies. What is it that you're expecting to happen? Like, when you're 30 years corrupted, I run a small business here with a few employees, and we're reforming things every day. Like, the government doesn't even reform. Like, we changed our studio around today. We won't really notice that there on the video, but it's like, we're reforming the way our wires are run. Why is it these government agencies just run the same for 30 years, and then everyone wonders why they're so corrupt? You could not run a private business that way, and it would work. Like, businesses have to be rethought through almost every quarter and every year at least. There has to be a completely new mission. I can't just sit around, like, make money for the next few years. I have to, like, rethink of new contracts, new investments, new plans. And I have to make sure that the content we're making not only just aligns with the directives that we want, but imagine if the people in my staff were like, actually, we're going to make the content however we want. Be like, no, you got to make it in line with the directives of what I've told you, or don't work here. Why could a government agency work against our government? That's why he's firing everyone from the FBI. I mean, it makes sense, right? With that being said, that was quick. DHS official was caught on undercover video admitting department will defy Kristi Noem and under investigation. Termination is imminent. Check out this video we have here. You will just watch the intro of it. It is pretty remarkable. Once again, James O'Keefe, OMG, has uncovered the truth. Watch.
Kristi Noem, hates her. So the secretaries can set the priorities for the department, but they can't actually tell us what to do. We don't agree with those priorities. There's a lot of room for interpretation in terms of how we interpret what those priorities are.
Meet Brandon Wright, a platform services manager for the Department of Homeland Security. Brandon Wright states to our undercover journalist how he will defy Kristi Noem's orders. Wright also said he won't let Kristi Noem get in his way.
The truth is, we don't let them get in our way.
Okay, good.
You're hearing like the real time from like, we don't let them get in our way. And frankly, that's actually, I would argue, I'm not even being an asshole. I would argue that's my job. You know how a septic tank works? So it like catches all the shit and like filters it through rocks and then sand and everything. There's a lot of layers like that through government.
Okay.
And by the time the actual marching orders get to like me and below, we can filter it in a way that steadies the ship.
The official at DHS discloses how GS-14s and GS-15s at the DHS will defy Noem's orders and how they will disregard her agenda.
I feel really, really bad for all the 15s because they have to deal with the crazy shit. And it's not easy. Because like I said, when it's like the crazy person of the choices here, they have to like work really hard.
Yeah.
To like steer it. Yeah. A lot of ass kissing. I'd be like, oh, what a great idea, Secretary Noem. Well, but what if we did this? I think your idea would be even better if we did it like this.
The DHS official tells our OMG undercover journalist that DHS could fall on Kristi Noem's head and she wouldn't recognize what it is.
She doesn't know her answer. The Department of Homeland Security could fall on her head and she wouldn't recognize what it is. Kristi Noem doesn't know shit.
So they won't listen to her. Now, of course, look, I don't want to listen to women either. No, I'm totally kidding. But I mean, look, it's the jokes aside. They're not listening to her because they're sexist or whatever. They're just not listening to her because, ultimately speaking, they're trying to undermine the Trump administration. And I feel like we have to be in a position where we're like, why do you not want the country to work? What is it about this country that you want to steamroll and to not allow to be successful? It makes me angry. Now, obviously, have you ever wondered what happened to legendary Chuck Norris? Well, I recently saw a video that he made and I was shocked. He's in his 80s and he's still kicking butt and working out and staying active. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by just making one change. He says that he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says that she feels 10 years younger, her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Now, Chuck made a special video that explains everything. Make sure that you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/pundit or by clicking the link in the video below. It'll change the way that you think about your health forever. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/pundit. Click the link on the link in the description and watch the video now. You won't believe it. Even his wife said she feels 30 years younger by changing this one thing, but you can only find out by watching his method by clicking the link in the description box at chuckdefense.com/pundit. Make sure you watch that video. And if you don't want to watch it now and you want to finish the video, at least write the link down or go back and click it at the end. Make sure you don't miss out. Now, I want to let you know, busted, a Michigan woman discreetly records canvasser telling her that it's okay to register to vote in 2 different counties. You don't have to live down here to vote. Now, this is a scandal like I've never heard. Patty McCurry reports. Let's watch the video, and you tell me exactly what you hear here. This is insane. Check this out.
You didn't ask permission to do this here. You got to leave.
Oh, I didn't know. I just started today, so they didn't say I don't have that form from here. You don't? Thank you. I don't have that form filled out. Okay. She didn't have the pen, so can I take it home and fill it out? I mean, I would need it today to go with this. Yeah. Well, can I drop it off somewhere? If you have time to do it right now, I can wait for you. It's supposed to look like this, filled out. Oh, let me see. Can, does, where's the information going? I'm going to get this to my supervisor. And my supervisor is going to get all the paperwork together and register all the people that signed the book to vote from down here. You're going to get this to your supervisor? And yep. Where's your supervisor at? My supervisor's over here at the back. Doing the same thing I'm doing. But are you sure that I can fill this out even though I'm registered in Oakland County? Yes, I wouldn't tell you a lie.
Now, this kind of corruption, obviously, you can see it has to be rooted out over the next 4 years. We cannot let this country fall back out of the hands of Trump into these people who so badly do not care about our nation, do not care about the construct of civility, of honesty, and of truth. Now, if you like stories like this, don't forget to sign up for our mug club at thegatewaypundit.com and follow these stories every single day. I'm Elijah Schaffer, As always, have a great rest of the week. We thank you so much for watching the Gateway Pundit, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.